Alright guys, well this isn't the video that I planned on making for this particular video. So I was messing around with the tune the other day, you know, just always refining, right? Always trying to get better, clean up some of the spots that are a little ugly within the tune. But so I put the car in reverse, and usually there's a clunk when it goes into reverse, which I, you know, just kind of brush off and figure some slop in the drivetrain. I know that rear carrier is a little tired, but this time it banged really hard, and the car wouldn't move, right? So shut the car off, you know, put it in park, thinking like I must have broke something. And so I felt like it was in the rear. And it's actually kind of funny because I jacked up the car, started taking the rear apart. I was thinking maybe one of those spider gears or something broke, because I remember them being a little worn last time. Luckily, the rear, nothing really too bad with it. There was some stuff that I had to fix or replace, but or am replacing, because clearly I'm not done yet. And then the problem with the transmission, cotter pin came out of the shifter cable, and it was, I guess, hanging on for dear life. And so what had happened was, when I went to throw it in reverse, I guess the shifting lever didn't engage reverse fully, and it kind of hammered really loud and then threw it back into park. And that explains why I wasn't able to move the car. I even tried pushing it, it wouldn't push, it would just barely go and then stay because it was in park. But it's Monday now, and you know, we're supposed to leave this week, and this isn't where I want it to be with the car. So I'm confident we'll get it done. I'm 100% confident, unless we have some sort of issue. I've done gears 3 or 4 times. You know, I've got it all apart. I'm just waiting on the new ones to get here. So confident we'll get it done. I would like to get a testing session in also on Thursday. We'll see. But anyway, guys, let's get into the rest of the video. Hello. Where you going, Stella? I really need to clean this garage up. I got parts everywhere. Anyone need a T5 bell housing? I got a T5 bell housing. I'll sell it to you cheap. I got a T5 over there too, if you need one. It's in pieces. Heck, you can just have that. Message me on Instagram if you need either a T5 bell housing. I'm gonna sell that. The transmission, I'll just give it away. I get in these weird moods when I'm working on the car and stuff just starts flying all over the garage. I mean, parts and like stuff just starts getting really hectic. So what I'm gonna do today is try and straighten up as much of the parts as I can, throw away what I don't need. But also what I want to do is, last time I was at the track, somebody actually asked me for like some, they needed like an electrical terminal or something, and I didn't have one. And it kind of made me think I need to throw together like a small box, toolbox specifically to take to the racetrack. So I'm gonna I have an old small toolbox. I'm gonna throw some stuff in it, and then that'll be like our little, when we go to the track, we take this box with us, and it has, you know, the little stuff. We're not gonna be doing any big jobs at the track, but you know, little stuff that we could do. Say we need an electrical terminal or you know, a nut bolt, you know, little stuff like that. All right, so I got my little box put together for stuff I'm gonna be bringing out to the track. It's mainly just, you know, some gasket makers and thread locker and some electrical stuff, a bunch of fuses, relay, and then inside, not really done yet, some hose clamps, wires. This is another 3-bar map sensor. I got 2 because I've heard stories of people blowing them apart, so just in case. And then another set of plugs, just some fuel fittings. But I'm gonna put a few more parts here, and then I got one of those trays. This box came with one of those trays, and that's where I'll put, you know, wrenches and sockets and stuff like that. So when I go to the racetrack, I just grab this and go. And if we have something small, or if somebody has something small or needs something done to their car, you know, we can help them out. What's the matter? If you guys were curious what was going on with, or what happened to the C10, this is the camshaft that came out of it. And I don't know if you've never seen what, this is a flat tappet camshaft. And so in these flat tappet engines, you need to run a high zinc content oil. And sometimes when you don't do that, you tear up the cam. And so, which side? Here it is right here. You can already tell how messed up the lobe is compared to the one next to it. Well, yeah, now you can really tell. So this lobe is completely toast. I mean, it wouldn't even push. Yeah, you can see the difference right there. So we're gonna get a new camshaft for it. And so we got the block down at the machine shop. They're typically pretty backed up. It's been on there for 2 weeks. To be quite honest, I'm not really in a huge rush for it anyway, but you know, I just checked in on it. They were like, hey, we hadn't got to it yet. So really all we're gonna do with that, you know, everything else with it looked pretty good as far as pistons, rods. One rod looks like it got a little hot. So it's this rod right here. And then what I'll probably end up doing is, the rod looks straight and it looks fine, right? It just blew, it got a little heat in it. What I'll probably end up doing is just getting some new bolts, right? Because these are hardened bolts. So when you introduce a lot of heat into something that's hardened, it tends to make it more brittle, so that this way this would, you know, snap basically. So granted, we're not doing anything crazy high performance, but I'll just get 2 new, you know, rod bolts and rod nuts with it. But then we'll go ahead and throw all this back on. Like I said, pistons look good. You know, as long as we can keep the standard bore, these are going to get reused. I'll just re-ring them. Oh, and here's the lifter. So I'm pretty sure you could tell which lifter was the bad one. All right, size matters, guys, especially in this case. So I had to stop and cook some dinner here for a minute, but I'm all done now. I took the car down the road a little earlier. I created a whole new tune for it, where I basically switched up the whole timing curve to have lower timing down low, and then it ramps up a lot quicker. Starts a lot better on this fuel map, and I think what it all really comes down to is camshaft selection within the Holley Terminator when you do the startup wizard. And so that can tune, I'm not sure what camshaft that it actually had selected. So I went through and I basically copied and pasted, as I showed you before, the whole tables and everything, and then set it up, and it was relatively close. I had to do some fuel table tweaking, which is why I think that this map runs a little better on this car. So what I'll do is when we go down to the track Wednesday, we'll test it out, see how it runs. It should run exactly the same. Might have to do some fuel table adjustments, but honestly, I really don't think that it will. So I'm gonna tune off of this table down on Wednesday, as long as the weather's nice and the track's open. And we'll see if we either pick up time, lose time, you know, whatever it may be. Run the same time, hopefully it all just evens out. Because it's nice to have the car idling and starting up well. It's really annoying having the car sit there and having to crank it a whole bunch of times. You know, sometimes it'll start, sometimes it won't. But on this fuel map, it really seems to like it. So hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, we're onto something here. So I went down to the junkyard to get some parts for the C10. I have the stock grill for it, but I don't have the bezels. And so they had a 82 for some reason. So this truck is an 83, but it has an 82 grill on it. It was built in 82, so I don't know if like maybe there was a time between 82 and 83 where they were just using
the leftover parts from the 82 until they got to the 83, who knows. But it's got an 82 grill on it, and when I got to the junkyard, I mean, there was nothing left on this Suburban, and it had a perfect front grill. I got one bezel that they pulled the molding off of it, and it's kind of cracked, but what I'm going to do is make sure it fits, and then there's a website, LMC Truck. I actually already ordered ones for an 83, but they're the wrong ones. I'm pretty sure this is the one, so I'll put this on really quick, see if it fits, and then if it does, I'll just order, you know, bezels for, I guess, an 82 Suburban. So I'm going to leave that alone for a little bit. The more I dig into it, I get annoyed with it. Right now, I've got the car all set up, going to pull the rear tires off. Alright, so we got the gears out of the car. Relatively straightforward process for disassembly. I'd say the hardest part is, you know, finding something to hold the pinion still, because that nut is on there pretty tight. So here's the 410s that you guys keep yelling at me for. So I did these myself. The wear pattern looks okay. Not so bad. You know, nice even on the top and bottom. It's a little bit concentrated towards the heel. So what I might do when I set the backlash for this next, for the 331s, is just, you know, I'll still be within tolerance, but I'll go a little tighter than I did on this one. The coast side of the gear, it doesn't look as ideal as the drive side, but could be worse. It was way worse on the 373s that were in this car. So I had actually thought that I had tore up one of these spider gear tooth. The car bangs really hard into reverse, and when I put it into reverse the other day, it banged harder than it ever had before. So, I mean, taking the whole thing apart, these gears are kind of worn. I'm not really going to invest anything into them because I'm going to go to a spooled rear. But I mean, they're worn, but they look good enough for us to still go out and, you know, have some fun. I mean, if anything, it was good to get this stuff out and inspect the job that I did last time and see, you know, I'm sure I could have got the wear pattern and stuff, you know, perfect, but, you know, for me, just doing it out here in my garage, I'm cool with it. One thing we did have, though, is the bearing from up here, one of the end cap bearings, it, you can see in the race, it's pretty pitted. So yeah, you can hear it when you spin it around. It crunches pretty good. You can hear it crunch pretty good when it rolls, whereas you don't hear that one. So I have an entire kit, and even this pinion bearing, this has a gouge mark on it. I think I remember this from last time and I just threw it back on, but I got some new bearings. I'm going to throw them on, especially this one. That other one I'm going to leave it. I wanted to save it for when I did the spool, but the way that this one kind of looks and sounds, I don't know what I was thinking last time, but we'll go ahead and press the new one on. And when I say press, I mean I'm going to put a few blocks of wood under the pinion gear and, you know, smash it on with a hammer. Now I know some of you probably lost your minds when you heard that I was going to hit this on with a hammer, but I'm not going to take the hammer and bash it on. What you do is take the old bearing and you mangle it up to get this bearing retainer off, and then you take all the little bearings out, and then you're left with you know, this inner race here. So if you turn it upside down and stick it on top, you have a nice solid spot to tap on to get this bearing set down into here. Now you want to make sure that you're hitting it evenly so you're not coming off to the side and messing up any of the bearings or this outer bearing retainer. So I've done this several times, not on a rear end gear, but when I was working as a mechanic on a tugboat, we had I changed, you know, hundreds of bearings, and when we're without a puller or some sort of hydraulic press, this is the method that we resort to. And that's it, really. We just got to get some oil and stuff in there, and this bearing is good to go. So, big thing too, make sure you're not reusing the old bearing race on the new bearing, okay? If you're changing whichever bearing, always use the bearing race that comes with that bearing. Don't interchange them, because these have wear patterns worn into them, as you can see on this one, which this one is not very pretty. And if we were just to use this on that, I don't know why you would, because you've already got it off, but it will not work out very well for you. I know I like to usually finish my projects within the video, but I feel like this one's kind of been long already. But the gears will be here tomorrow. I'm gonna put them on, and then Josh from the Underground Garage hit me up. He's like, hey man, let's go down to Galat. We're doing a test and tune. So hopefully I can finish this up. Well, I know I'll finish it up, but I'll get this finished up. And then Thursday night, we'll be out at Galat Motorsports Park. You can watch Josh just drive away from me, because his car is like a 570-ish car, right? 560s maybe even. But that'll be a good time to get out there, hang out, you know, try out these 331s, hopefully get a couple passes to dial it in, or at least get it close enough to where, you know, next week we can get out there, or not next week, geez, on Saturday. We can get out there and, you know, we can have some fun. And we'll probably do our typical first pass on 8 pounds, and then I'll put the boost controller, actually I think I put it back to 8. Yeah, it's back to 8. But we'll do our usual 8 pounds, and then we'll get out there and let it rip on, you know, 10, 12 pounds or whatever. I'll probably go 12. We'll see how it holds the boost. It should go, with this gear on 12 pounds, it should go another PB. We'll see. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend. So what I will say is, if you do see me out there, feel free to walk right up to me, say hello. I'll be there with my family, but it'll be totally fine. We'll be there all day Saturday. Obviously check out the car if you want, but I'm telling you, it's not much. The car runs, but it's not much. Anyway guys, that's gonna be it for this one. As always, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.